Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to say welcome back to myself. I'm back and good to be on with you guys. And yeah, we missed you. Okay, so let's say hello to a friends. Mike from Norland, how are you this afternoon, Mike? And Andrea, Niagara Falls. Nice to have you on. Nick, there you are from our staff. And Barbara, Fran from Orangeville, how is you? Janet, Thunder Bay, and Lisette, Nouveau Brunswick, Rain Cloud from Michigan. Sandra, good afternoon. Donna, and Sandra from Aurelia. Cecilia from Sudbury, how is you? Donna, Vancouver Island. Wanda, Ridgeway. Nancy, Iowa in the US of A. David in Florida. Nellie, how are you? Jeanette from our staff. And Kathy. Wendy from Wasaga. Sue from Bolton. And Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Donna from Park Hill. Verna from Markham. Evangeline. And Yolande, how are you? Maria. And Wanda from Virginia. And who else is with us? Karen. And Vince, how are you? Patricia. And who was that? Herma? I couldn't see. Mary. Kelowna, British Columbia. Jean. Diane from Thunder Bay. Catherine. Parksville, British Columbia. Jane. How are you? Judy. Doketown, New Brunswick. Anne. And Kevin. There you are, Kev. How you doing, buddy? Mary, P-E-I, Sylvie, from North Bay, salut. Terry, Sonia from Elmer. Okay, couple of more guys. And Kevin says he's out shopping. And Wendy, I missed you. Didn't mean to. Karen, Little Britain. Jean, or Jen, I think it's Jean. Sandy, Beverly, New Brunswick. Okay, guys, couple of stories this afternoon here. And let me just get to them. Always interesting. You get these new studies or new papers that are out. And okay, let's see. Here's one. 200%. 200% increase in pancreatic cancer. 200% in the last 20 years or so. Pancreatic cancer, and we've talked about this. To me, it's not a mystery. Why? I read the article about it, and they were asking why. Why would this happen? Well, all you have to do is think about your pancreas and think about insulin and think about, I think here, I'm going to give you a couple of things that I, just the way my brain operates. One of them is very obvious. Okay, we often talk about using it or use it or lose it, but there's such a thing as overuse. And I really believe that the pancreas was never meant to release the amount of insulin that it needs to release in order to operate in the diet that North Americans have chosen. We have gone so far off track in terms of what we're eating today compared to what we were eating 100 years ago. The amounts, one, the amounts of sugar, the amounts of something that wasn't even around 100 years ago, or barely, and that was seed oils. And, thanks to Procter and Gamble. No, but really, guys, it's, we look at pancreatic cancer and, it's not the environment. It's not chemicals, even though that can contribute to other cancers. Guys, in my opinion, the biggest thing that's happened is our enormous appetite for sugar and crappy carbs. And what happens with that? Your pancreas, which was meant to be used sparingly. People think about it. Just go back 100 years ago or less even. You ate 3 square meals a day, but most of it was, there was no fast foods. People weren't living on fast food or whatever. Today, we are hammering our pancreas. And I've taught you over the years, and you guys know this as well as anybody in medicine, and I mean this, the significance of insulin resistance. And when your cells become resistant to insulin, insulin still has a job to do. And therefore, if it takes double the amount of insulin that it used to take to get the sugar out of your bloodstream, park it, insulin will do the job till it can't. So, to me, it's not a mystery that we are up 200% of pancreatic cancer. Now, let me just throw in another thing, because what is very much related to the pancreas is the gallbladder, okay? And we're seeing a lot more pancreatitis today than we used to. And again, the pancreas and pancreatitis and pancreatic cancer, to me, have a lot to do with stones forming in the gallbladder, because the gallbladder is not being used. We're not eating enough fat. We're eating carbs and fat. We're not eating enough saturated fat. We're not eating enough eggs, meat, and cheese. That amount in the grocery store of eggs, meat, and cheese are going downwards. There's a 30% or so drop in the amount of red meat that people are eating. You think that's a good thing? It's not a good thing. Because your body was, and I've said this a million times, but I'll say it and say it and say it. Your body was meant to eat red meat. It was designed for it. Your body was designed to eat eggs. Avoid at your own risk. Your body was designed for it. Your pH of your stomach was designed for steak, for red meat. The pH inside there, we'll do a little, because there was a question the other day about pH, and I got to go into it and teach it again. And it's always good to go back and just to show you, because there's so much nonsense out there when it comes to, meat is acidic, eggs are acidic, cheese is acidic. They're all part of an acidic ash. I heard that the other day. Oh, the ash of meat. It's acidic. Well, first of all, no, it's not. And second of all, you want acidity in your stomach. Okay, we'll get into that a little deeper detail. But one of the things that I find, and again, this is just my theory, okay? Obviously, the reason that we have so much, the number one reason that we have so much pancreatic cancer, which was an old man's cancer at one time. Stomach cancer, pancreatic cancer was an old man's cancer. Not anymore. Young people getting that. And yep, sugar. I mean, your body wasn't meant, never designed to consume, a truckload, a dump truck load of sugar. Your body wasn't designed for it. So there's that, but there's the other thing too, when you're not eating eggs, meat, and cheese. When you're eating fat-free, your gallbladder is forming stones. And those stones, if they get caught, you ask anybody that's ever gone through an attack of pancreatitis, an acute pancreatitis, I can kill you. You can become sepsis over it. And no fun under the sun. So that's one thing. Might as well stick to cancer. Might as well stick to it, because there was another study that came out, and it said this, okay, here's the headline of it. So one of the headlines was 200% increase recently in pancreatic cancer. 200%. You think we're winning the war on cancer, folks? Okay? When the Cancer Society comes by and asks you to donate, okay? Excuse me. When they ask you to donate, I like to ask them where all the money's going. We're not winning the war on cancer. We're losing the war. And you give them a statistic like this, 200% increase. And nobody's talking food. It's amazing to me. The pancreas, which is a food organ. And they're getting pancreatic cancer, and it's complex. We don't know what's causing that 200% increase. You know, the answer's right in front of you. Second one, let me read the headline to you. Stress plays a key role in the spreading of cancer. This is a significant discovery, and it's saying this, okay? Chronic stress increases cancer metastasis. Okay? What stress does, and here's what they found physiologically, it increases a certain type of white blood cell called a neutrophil. And it acts like a web-like structure known as nets. And it's called neutrophil extracellular traps. Whatever. All they know is it facilitates the cancer spread. Okay? Now, what have I said to you all along about stress? Cortisol. Okay? What's the hormone? Cortisol. Does cortisol cause anything? When you look at heart disease, is cortisol a factor? For sure. You look at autoimmune, is it a factor? Yeah, for sure. Cancer, is it a factor? For sure. But it's not the cause. But what cortisol does, and we've been saying this at the Martin Clinic for centuries. Not centuries, but okay, seems like centuries. Cortisol adds fuel to the fire. Cortisol adds gasoline to the fire. It's not the cause of the fire, but it adds gasoline to it. Okay? Now, we've done this chart. I used to have it up in my office. I had a lot of charts in my office. Okay? And one of them was on the 3 seeds of disease. Okay? So what we did, okay, what we did is this, okay? So let me, I'll get out my, my drawings, okay? So what we said was leaky gut, insulin, right? High circulating insulin or insulin resistance, okay? 2, and free radical damage, okay, or oxidation. Okay, we'll get into this in a second. Okay, that's the first step. That's the first step. Whether it's heart disease, cancer, okay, Alzheimer's, diabetes, autoimmune, 5 of those things. Okay? They're not infections. People are not dying today. They are dying still, but not like they used to, obviously. That's one of the greatest things about medicine is you get an infection, even sepsis. Now, too many people still die from that. But antibiotics save millions and millions of people's lives. But we're talking about heart disease, has nothing to do with that. We're talking about cancer. We're talking about Alzheimer's. And we're talking about diabetes, and we're talking about autoimmune. They're all up on the rise. And what I'm saying is you got leaky gut, insulin resistance, okay, food. You got free radicals. Those are your chemicals and sugars. And you got leaky gut because of yeast or fungus, the invasion of the third army. You get that. And then before you get cancer or even heart disease or Alzheimer's, okay, or diabetes, or fifthly, autoimmune. See the chart. I'm going to show you. Okay, got it? Leaky gut, insulin, and the third one here, okay, free radical damage. And then you have those diseases over here, right? And then up in here, we used to put a little thing in our chart with the gasoline pouring on these diseases. That was cortisol. So now the research, guys, is finally catching up to what we've been talking about. I mean, I talked about cortisol, guys, 30 years ago. Being involved in the process of cancer. Okay? I've written books about it, guys. I wrote books about it. The perfect storm in cancer. Cancer is complex. There's no doubt about that. Okay? Somebody's, because I've heard it say, well, we found the cure to cancer, but the pharmaceutical companies are hiding it because they want to make money. Now, guys, no. Okay? Like, look, I don't believe that. And I know I'm right about that. We have not found the cure to cancer. Okay? We have not. But we're not even looking in the right direction for the cure to cancer. Okay? Because it's not going to be just one thing. Okay? Because let me just say something, because I'll get it out of the way and then we'll come back in a minute. If you had to choose, okay? And maybe I'll ask this question here today. If you had to, you only got to one choice to prevent cancer in the first place, okay? If you only had one choice, What would your choice be? Okay? What would your choice be? Let me see if we get a couple of answers here. Okay? You only had one choice in terms of preventing, let's say, cancer. And you had to choose something. What would you choose? Okay? Let me just see. I don't see anything scrolling. That doesn't mean there's no answers out there, but I'd like to know what you're thinking. Joan, yeah, prevention, okay. In what way? Give up sugar. Cecilia, perfect answer. Really is. Stay away from sugar. Jeanette. Barbara, you guys are the smartest. What an audience. What an audience. What an audience. No carbs or sugar. Tina, yeah, prevent. Yeah, for sure. Good food. Kathy, love that answer. Good answer. EMC. Judy, you got it. And Bonnie, I like that. Oil of oregano. Oh, I love oil of oregano. And Linda, EMC. Lynn, EMC. Oh, you guys. It's food, right? Okay, Jane. Yeah, avoid sugar. Maryland, you guys. You guys. Why do I even test you? You're so stinking smart. Sonia, no high fructose corn syrup. Janice, vitamin D. I love that. Lisette, vitamin D. Cecilia, I love you. Coffee. I love it. And Patricia, sugar. Kathy, the right fuels, food. Annette, coffee. Tammy, EMC and DHA. Guys, I love it. Fran, oh, you guys are unreal. You guys are so stinking smart, I'm telling you. I wish we could have somehow, Sue, yeah, seed oils, good, all those, and Wendy, high DHA, yep. If you only had one thing. If you only had one thing, you could only choose one thing. You know? Giving up sugar and the seed oils and coffee. I love that answer because I'm telling you, people who drink coffee, and I don't know, I think I might have chosen, like if you asked me, okay, I would have said, well, give me the sun. Give me vitamin D. One thing. Give me vitamin D. For all-cause mortality. I probably, and no sugar. For sure. And sugar is, we've known that cancer cells have, what is it? Is it 100? I can't even remember. I got to look at the statistic again. How many more times receptors for sugar, for insulin? Cancer cells are ravenous. And we knew that back in 1928, by the way. Buried. But guys, it just shows you your thinking, okay? Your thinking. So, the roots, leaky gut, okay? High circulating insulin, food, leaky gut, food, destroys the lining of the gut, toxins come in, especially yeast, guys, especially yeast. And when they look at biopsies at cancer, a lot of times what they're seeing are fungus. It's a fungus. That's how it grows. And free radicals, which is oxidative. So chemicals are involved for sure. And seed oils and all that nonsense is involved, okay? But what this study is saying, cortisol, when you're adding stress, I did this years ago on a radio show. I can't remember how many years ago, 20 years ago, maybe more than that now. I think I was in Windsor, and I used to do a radio show in Windsor on, what was it on? Not WLL. I used to love that. The Windsor station, anyway. Somebody remind me if you can tell me what station I used to be on in Windsor. But anyway, I did this program one time on breast cancer. okay? And breast cancer. And I said, breast cancer is CKLW8, Nick, thank you, AM, with Lynn Martin. I mean, I had a senior moment. And I was on with Lynn for, I don't know, 20 years. And on the Lynn Martin show, and we're not related. Okay, but what a wonderful woman. And we did a lot of work down in Windsor and CKLW, and really enjoyed it. But, okay, I did this show on breast cancer. And I said, breast cancer is a perfect storm. I said, I've never seen an exception to it, okay? And it's not genetic, okay? And today, even today, I know women that because they have a certain gene that they take the prevention for them is removing their breasts. I say, guys, look, let me just give you my experience with breast cancer, okay? And my experience was this, okay? It was a perfect storm. It was a hormonal storm. First of all, too much estrogen, too much of a woman. I can't remember ever seeing an exception to it. Too much estrogen, too much insulin. Okay? Too much estrogen, too much insulin, because they had insulin resistance, carboholics. They were low in vitamin D, okay, scared of the sun, okay, low in vitamin D. And part of the perfect storm was cortisol, the stress hormone. And I got a lot of feedback, most of it very positive, because if you listen to the Cancer Society, and even today, they don't talk about vitamin D, or very little. 1,000 I use, you know. But breast cancer, very, very low levels of vitamin D. You need optimized levels of vitamin D. Too much estrogen, not enough progesterone, big time. Too much insulin, big time. And cortisol added to stress. And here's what we saw. You know, either family trouble, excuse me, got phlegm. Family trouble, family dynamics, financial, marriage, you name it. You add that into the mix and you had a perfect storm. No fun under the sun. Anyway, now you got a new study out saying that what cortisol does, excuse me, it plays a key role in cancer spread. A significant discovery. That's funny. I was talking about it over 20 years ago. Okay, guys. Now, we're going to do another afternoon session tomorrow. Okay, so we're going to go back to back in the afternoon. I'll probably a morning session Wednesday. This week is going to be a little bit different for me. Thanks for all your patience, guys, and understanding. I missed a few days, and it was last minute notice. We had a death in the family, my brother-in-law, and it just threw my schedule upside down. And I thank you for your patience and just for your loyalty. And so many of you just expressed sympathy, and we appreciate that. We thank you guys. You're like family. You're like family. Okay. Guys, we love you dearly, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay.